All right, what's going on, everybody? I'm here. I'm Kris Ainge, staff designer here at Purchaser, and I'm here with
Matt Dunbar, staff engineer.
staff. Yeah, and we're here to talk to you about a new feature that we're launching actually today in alpha, the vendor discovery tool. And so, one of the things we've heard from a lot of our design partners on this front is that knowing what you need is pretty easy to know. But knowing where to get it might not always be quite as smooth sailing. So actually, one of the stories that one of the guys told us was he had somebody come in. He was a contract manufacturer. He was trying to sell them on some custom manufacturing that they needed, and they came with a request that they needed it made out of tungsten, right? And their normal material vendor just happened to not carry that tungsten metal, so they had to then go out and find a new vendor to actually supply the customer. And they just couldn't find that vendor in time before the customer needed to move on. So they actually lost a sales opportunity because they couldn't find the stuff that they needed that quick, which is crazy. I mean, that stinks. So what we're going to show you today is hopefully something that can really help out in that situation.
All right, and I'm going to pull up the demo real quick. All right, so we've got vendor discovery is going to be accessible through the sidebar right here, and then you'll be greeted with a search window. Some of your recent searches are a few things that I've searched for. So I'm just going to go with one of these, and here is a list of vendors that you
Yeah.
can navigate back and forth through.
So where are we actually pulling these vendors from? How are they getting on here?
We're basically indexing the web from kind of a slew of Google searches and just like getting raw data and indexing through it and making sure that we trained the AI model correctly on what type of things that needs to be looking for as far as like domain name, contact number, and then kind of the products that they carry, services, stuff like that. And we're constantly trying to tweak that to make sure that it gets the most accurate and relevant information for people to be able to to choose a vendor.
Yeah. Yeah. So what does one of these vendors look like in here?
Let's go down here to aviation metals. Basically, you get some of the high level stuff like the domain name. You can click out and go to their contact email address, and then some of the more I guess pertinent stuff like certifications and the categories you're looking for.
Yeah, yeah. I really like how clean and organized we've got these high level details because I know a lot of the times I've heard it's just like you kind of really have to dig through some of these websites to really find some of that information. And right now it's like I need to find somebody, right, that's like tungsten and has AS9100, and we've got that right there. Like in one single view, you can kind of see pretty cleanly like what's going on, which I really like. And then what's cool about from here, right, is you can save this vendor for later if you want to do that later. You can add a bunch. You can compare across a lot of different vendors. You can even like contact them directly from this thing. So we've got their phone numbers there, emails, their website if you need to go view it, and that kind of stuff. And then we actually have the ability to go ahead and add these vendors right to an RFQ. So if you already have an RFQ going or you're going to start building one, like you can kind of quickly do that right here in this discovery mode, which I think is pretty slick. And then you were saying one of the things that you really liked was you worked on a mobile version.
Yes. One second, let me pull that up. So basically, kind of the same type of design, but it's kind of condensed down specifically for mobile. And the cool thing is, if we do the same thing, obviously we can't, go off to the right or whatever. That'd be kind of a, crappy experience on mobile. So we pop up this little sheet and you can scroll up and down here. That phone number, if you are actually on a phone, you can just click it and it'll go, actually call the vendor. And then you have these big buttons here for mobile stuff. So one of the cooler things I've worked on as far as web mobile UI goes to make something feel this like kind of, app like without having to go into an app.
Yeah, yeah. No, I definitely know, especially like I said, looking at some of those websites, they're a little tough on mobile. And so this helps out with that a lot too, I think, which is really cool. And yeah, like I said, this launches today in alpha. It will be available if you just go to the new link in the navigation. You'll see a sign up form if you haven't been a part of the alpha program yet. But it's a quick, easy sign up. And once you get in there, we love feedback. So feel free to add any sort of notes. I think there's a contact email in the navigation as well, and you can just send us emails if things aren't working how you think it is, or little changes that might make it work a little bit better for you because we don't want to just make stuff that we think is cool, right? We do still think this is cool, but we want to make sure that it works for the problems that you all have. And I really hope that we get a lot of that feedback from you, and good and bad. That would be great. But yeah, this has been awesome. Like I said, I'm Chris. Matt, if you want to give a shout out at the end here as well.
I'm Matt, and then also just put in any products that you want us to vendor index search. So
Yeah, please do. Please do. But yeah, thanks once again. This has been Vendor Discovery at purchaser.ai.